Now, we had discussed via very late night, I'm guessing you were probably drunk and or high, some very late night text messages earlier in the week.
Oh, wait, maybe, yes.
About, you know, it was like the 3 a.m. Music call, I guess.
Yeah. If it was 3 in the morning, then yes.
Yeah. But anyway, we mentioned that Charlie Watts, drummer of the Rolling Stones, had passed away at the age of 80 earlier this week. And maybe it would be nice to have a little, not a retrospective, but just go visit a couple of Rolling Stone songs. We've never reviewed a Rolling Stone song or talked about them really at all. Although the Rolling Stones, frankly, were pretty formative in my musical journey or my appreciation of music and desire to be a glamorous rock star. Didn't work out. I'm no Mick Jagger. All right, you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, that's pretty good. Good choice.
Is that it?
It's like a cheery, dark material, but very cheery. Like, oh, it's great. See, space. You need some space in there.
Just a little chicken scratch.
Yeah. It's good.
All right, so that was Sympathy for the Devil by the Rolling Stones. So, Kev, what'd you think?
Oh, it's terrible. It's garbage. Let's trash it.
Real quick, before we get into rating.
So why'd you pick it? Yeah, why'd you pick that song?
Okay. It probably is my favorite of the Rolling Stones
good pick.
Catalog.
Yeah.
Certainly my favorite of their really popular songs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's up there. I really like the percussion because it's not a standard, like 4/4 backbeat. Like this is a little more interesting and intricate. Sounds like there's like a zither. It's not just drums, it's percussion, right? So it gives you something a little bit different. I went through everything that I had by the Rolling Stones in my personal, record library, whatever, into a playlist, and I was, listening to some of my favorite songs, and everything else just kind of like a pretty standard backbeat. I wanted something a little bit different. I also think this is the cleanest performance out of, again, my favorite songs. I noticed I think so.
Give Me Shelter has got to be like the penultimate Stones
song.
I
didn't get around to listening to Give Me Shelter. Okay. That probably is the best Rolling Stones song.
It's like clean as fuck. Like it's perfect, start to finish.
So we should probably do that one instead.
We could do that one too.
We could do that, and that can be your pick, maybe. And then we'll see who.
We'll do that one, and then there's a couple I want to do. So.
Okay.
Whatever.
We'll do a bunch of them. So I thought it had more interesting rhythmic elements to it. I thought it was a clean, especially the vocal performance by Mick compared to some of the other songs I was listening to. He doesn't go flat in areas. He hits the falsetto really well, I think, in this one. And the story behind this. I didn't know that was probably Charlie Watts doing the background, the high background vocals.
I think they're all doing it. Like everybody who's not Mick Jagger is doing the woos. But it fits because it's part of the percussive background. So
it is, but it still helps to outline the chords, especially when the piano part gets more intricate and it's playing more riffs, not just stabbing, a whole note chord for a whole bar like it was doing in the very beginning. But anyway, I was thinking about the story. I seem to remember hearing about or reading about or seeing something about this song, and we could probably look this up really easily and find out exactly when it was recorded. But who wants to do that? It was in the 60s. So the line that made it into that version of the song is "Who killed the Kennedys?" Mm-hmm. But I was under the impression there was a version, like an early demo version, that said "Who killed John Kennedy?" And the reason why it changed to the Kennedys is because while they were in the studio,
that guy's been in the news today too. Actually, so Sirhan was in the news like yesterday.
Well, that's weird.
It's weird timing.
Most people don't expect that kind of timely journalistic integrity that they're getting from us today, and they shouldn't expect it from us.
No, that'll never happen again. So
okay, but that's interesting. Yeah, Sirhan is potentially being paroled,
or something.
That still has to be signed off by Gavin Newsom, the governor. Actually, is he even still the governor? I know they're undergoing their recall. But anyway, the reason why the line changed in my recollection of the story is while they were in the studio to record this song, RFK, Robert Kennedy, was murdered, assassinated. I guess you're assassinated if you're a high-profile person. Otherwise, it's just a murder. You would be murdered. I would be murdered.
Nobody would even notice.
Bobby Kennedy was assassinated.
Yeah,
that's the big difference.
Chris Rock has a good joke
and because of that, so
Sorry.
Mick changed the lyrics to "Who killed the Kennedys" instead of just "Who killed John Kennedy."
Yeah,
and there are other allusions. I really love the allusions. You know, stuck around St. Petersburg. You know, I rode a tank held at general's rank. Like really good imagery. But anyway, that's why I picked this song. That was a long, sort of drawn-out diatribe about that. But let's get into.
I mean, for you, no, that was pretty short and painless.
Yeah, I was almost prepared. Okay, so let's go through and rate it.
All right.
Melody. Where are you thinking on the melody?
Strong, 8 or 9.
I'm thinking probably an 8. Doesn't seem all that intricate, but it all fits really well.
Yeah. Okay.
Now lyrics, I didn't go and scrutinize every word. I do.
7 or 8. It's pretty tight. There are some stupid lines. The setup of all right, go. You say what you're gonna say first.
I was just gonna say I don't like the line "while the bodies stank."
I think that's a beautiful line.
I think it's a really cheap line a cheap rhyme to go with tank and rank. You could have chosen a different rhyme for.
It's a perfect rhyme, but I think it good use of those words. I think.
I mean, there's probably lots of other things.
Pull up the lyrics, please, if we're going to be looking at the lyrics. Jesus.
Oh. Why, of course, Herr Kommissar.
I think it's strong. It tells a story from a perspective, and it's also kind of like a almost like a conversation. Not really, but it's like an introduction, you know. And it tells a story, and it's very. I think there's some bad lines, but I think that's always going to happen. I think you're always going to have some silly lines in there.
I don't think you always have to have.
I don't think you have to. I think it's just, you know, odds are good that you'll end up with a few lines that you're like not super jazzed about, but they're in there to take up the space, and they do a good enough job of like transitioning from one thing to the next.
Yeah.
My least favorite is the setup. Hope you guess my name. But what's puzzling you is the nature of my game. I think that's a poor setup for an excellent punchline. That's how I feel about that line. How do you feel? What do you think about those two lines there?
So you think that "pleased to meet you, hope you guess my name"?
Hope you guess my name. Like, I don't know. Like, it's called "Sympathy for the Devil." Like, what do you have to guess his name? I don't understand. You know.
Well, okay, because you have to imagine you're back in the 1960s.
Okay.
And you are introduced. You're introduced to new music because you hear it on the radio, and you don't necessarily hear the disc jockey saying, here's the new one from the Rolling Stones. It's called Sympathy for the Devil. Like, you're just listening to a song. And if you look at the lyrics, look at the lyrics as a text, I think here's why I think the setup makes sense. Please allow myself to introduce myself. That's what it should have been.
Yeah.
He describes, he stole many a man's soul and faith. I was around when Jesus had his moment of doubt and pain, made sure that Pilate washed his hands, sealed his fate. Okay, so that is a description of a series of events. And you're either, if you're Mel Gibson, you're going to think, oh, well, this guy's just a Jew. Or if you're not Mel Gibson, if you're not an anti-Semite, you're probably just going to think, okay, well, he's probably the devil. And then he gets to the chorus, says, pleased to meet you, hope you guessed my name. If anything, I would say the setup is better than the punchline.
Arguable.
What's puzzling you is the nature of my game.
Yeah.
Again, it's a really simple name and game rhyme. But if you really get into it, there's probably a better way of saying what I think he's trying to say.
They're both crap.
Which is, what's the next evil thing that I'm going to do?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it really even evil?
Or why are all these things happening? I don't know.
Why do bad things happen to good people?
Yeah.
Why do bad things happen to bad people? So I prefer that first line of the chorus. Okay. But it's funny. We're arguing over.
I like "Pleased to Meet You."
The chorus. The chorus is the part that gets repeated
over and over and over again. The way he delivers it, though, each time, just a tiny bit different. It really does a good job of breaking it up so that it's not monotonous and repetitive and annoying when he says it. And it's like you're like excited for the next one. You're like, all right, this is good. So he does a good job with the delivery.
So, verse 2, stuck around. This is talking about the Russian Revolution. I think the Bolshevik. I'm not a scholar of all that, but Anastasia probably. Now, this is an interesting one. Anastasia would have screamed in vain because there's absolutely zero evidence that she really did survive. All the people later on who claimed, oh, yes, I am Anastasia and I escaped, from the Gulag where they killed my whole family. Those are all pretty much just pretenders. There's no real evidence that Anastasia did escape. So that's actually a good historical line. I like that he says
this is a much better compilation of events than fucking American
Abraham
Pie by
Martin
Don McLean. Don McLean.
This
is a much better version of what that song could be. Short, sweet, give us some fucking highlights.
Well, this is still 6 minutes long.
Yeah. The other one's 8 though. Could have been 2 minutes shorter.
I feel like this is probably a little less repetitive and it's more interesting conceptually.
It's super it's from a more interesting perspective than
But I think the dark side is always going to appeal to people like you and me.
Yeah, that's true.
More than the
when you got to the Levee Wizard Drive.
I had my Letterman jacket and I met Susie Q at the sock hop and all that, the ice cream social and all that shit.
Yeah.
I thought this was interesting. I rode a tank held a general's rank when the blitzkrieg raged and the body stank. So I already told you I don't like the line.
Yeah.
The body stank.
I think it's fair. I think
but which side was he? Which side of the blitzkrieg was he a general on?
Mm-hmm. No, it's nice. Yeah. Both probably. Who gives a shit? He didn't give a fuck.
Every army thinks that God is on their side.
Mm-hmm.
When really the devil's on both. That's an interesting social commentary, maybe.
That's pretty good.
You get that, the chorus again. Kings and queens fought for 10 decades for the gods they made. I don't think that's a specific reference to anything. Who killed the Kennedys? I laid traps for troubadours who get killed before they reach Bombay. I don't know if that's a reference. I'm not going to click. If you're interested as a viewer, go check it out.
Look it up for us so we don't have to.
Yeah, let us know in the comments below.
Tell us, explain history to us.
Yeah. Chorus variation. Then it's not ACAB, it's ACAC. All cops are criminals. Yeah, not too much else historical. Anything else on the lyrics? I'm thinking an 8 for the lyrics.
Yeah, it's pretty intricate. I'll give it that. Even though there's some bad lines and stuff that I don't, both you and I picked out some things that we didn't really like. Fuck us. It's not up to us. But yeah,
exactly.
8 is strong. Yeah, that was a long breakdown of lyrics, but 8.
Well, I think it merits that. Okay, so rhythm, I got to go like a strong 9. Like it sets the groove in the first couple of seconds, and it just keeps going and keeps going, and it builds a little bit. I think it's that strong.
The woot woos, everything in that
adds
piece,
to it.
Yeah, everything in that piece is very well timed.
I'm thinking 9. Would you be willing to go 10?
I don't think I would go 10. I'd stay at 9 though. Strong 9. Hard 9 on that one.
Got a 9. Got a 9. Give me a 10. Give me a 10. Give me a 10. Give me a 10 over there. Okay. Harmony. I don't have the best ear for like what the chord changes are. Like, oh, that's he's playing an E minor there. He's playing a D7 there, something like that. I can't tell that. But I do think it was really well outlined.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the changes happened at appropriate places. It wasn't necessarily predictable. Like, this is the kind of stuff that I was listening to. But overall, the texture of everything, the woo-woos that you were talking about are percussive, but they also build on the chords. And you can tell they get higher when the chord gets higher. They get lower when the chord gets lower. So I think that just serves to further enrich the harmony. I would be willing to go like an 8 on that without knowing.
I would say an 8, and I would count in the
really
I don't know how you feel about, like, he's playing, whatever secondary percussion that he's playing, bongos or congas, but he's got the tones of the actual drum heads themselves kind of blend in with the piece. I think that's entertaining in and of itself. Would you count that as like harmonizing with the melody?
I would probably call that, since that's an instrument choice, I would credit that under production. Probably arrangement.
Yeah.
Really, yeah.
All right, let's give it then. What did you say? 7?
8.
8. I'll give you an 8.
I think it was that strong. Performance, accuracy, out of 6.
5. 6 is pretty. Yeah, 6. That's a lot going on there.
I'm kind of almost willing. I'm going to go 5.5.
Okay, 5.5 is good. 5.5, because like there's just a lot going on, and it all plays well together. Tell me what we're rating again.
That was accuracy.
Accuracy
out of 6, and I would just add the reason why. Usually like a professional production would get a 5 out of 6. Like, that's what we expect.
It's a little bit more
radio ready stuff. I think this is just a little bit more. I think part of it for me, like, again, out of some of the Rolling Stones songs that I listened to over the last couple of days in preparation for this, a much cleaner vocal performance from Mick here, where he wasn't like kind of flattening out or making odd pitch choices. I thought it was just a better, cleaner vocal performance from him.
All right.
So how about feel out of 6 points?
6. Nailed it.
I would say so. It's no giant steps, but again, really strong. All right, so production. The mix.
Strong. That was 5 or 6.
Pretty strong. I'm thinking a 5.
Okay.
I don't always love it. Sounded like the bass was over in the left channel. I sometimes hate that. I really want the bass to be just front and center, just punching me right in the chin, but instead it kind of knocked me over there.
I got no notes.
And the woo-woos were entirely on the right side, from what I could hear, which makes it feel slightly lopsided to me.
I
but I'm
don't think
thinking of
that
five,
that's
5 out of 6.
true. I don't think that that's true. I don't know how that would have. Well, maybe. I don't know. All right. Yeah.
Okay.
5 out of 6.
Arrangement out of 6.
6.
Remember, we were talking
6.
5.5.
6. Okay. Let's talk about it real quick.
Okay.
Instrumentation choice. We were talking about that. The woot woos. There was something else that was very interesting to me, and I can't think of it at the moment. Let me look at the lyrics again. Maybe that'll remind me.
I think it was a lot
the call
of good...
and response from the vocals and the guitar. The dropping out so that the bass line could be heard for a minute and have its own little spot. Those are all really good arrangement choices. I would say 6, based on all of those things. That's a pretty strong argument. What do you got?
I mean, I think they are good choices when I look at the overall arrangement section by set. It's verse, chorus, guitar solo, verse, chorus, guitar solo, chorus, chorus. It's not really a bridge
the structure
outside of outside of just having solo sections.
The structure is simple, but
if you look at like an 8-bar guitar solo section for the first one, then you've got like a 2-bar bass solo and then a 6-bar guitar solo and like kind of free vamping by Mick. It's still like a pretty tight structure. It's not like experimental kind of stuff that I would expect a 6 to give.
Okay. All right, 5.5 though. You got to give me at least half a point.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 5.5 is exactly.
Those were good arguments. All right.
And I do that so that it will probably end up at a whole value.
You turd.
All right. So let's talk appeal, emotion. This doesn't make me fear the devil, but it also I don't know.
It's like a cordial introduction. Like does
it make me have
very
sympathy for the devil?
No, it's fun though.
It doesn't even do what it says on the box.
No, it's fun. It's like I just imagine like it hits me with the picture of like a greasy salesman introducing himself with a big smile on his face, and you're like, this guy is trouble, but he's so happy about it. Like that's great. Like that's very fun. I would say 14 at least, maybe more.
I was thinking 14 for slightly different reasons. Like it doesn't exactly make me feel sympathy for the devil, but I do think we went through the lyrical analysis and we talked about the historical references, and I feel like it does a really good job of sort of giving that inside view of what the devil's up to. So I think it succeeds in that vein. Innovation. Now this is tough because this is, we're talking like 1968, 1969 kind of time frame. I think RFK was murdered in 68. That was probably, I think that would have been an election year, 68. So, and it was during the convention. So that's probably when he was murdered. So it's probably around that time. Was this song innovative back then? Kev, neither you nor I were around at the time. 15 years before our time. So
3 years before Don McLean's American Pie. I would say that Don McLean probably got the idea somewhere.
And I don't
innovation.
I don't think you had a whole lot of reference. I mean, you were probably more likely to hear stuff like Spirit in the Sky around that time frame and more spiritual things, more uplifting spiritual things. I mean, this was uplifting in a different way.
Right there. I don't know.
I don't know if there was a whole lot of references to the devil. I mean, unless it was talking about how the devil's bad. Like this is a totally different take than what you probably would have gotten. I mean, I have to use my imagination and what little bit of history I know. I don't think
it wasn't very mainstream to be so talk about dark things, I would imagine. So
I'm thinking like 2 points out of 4.
Shit, all right, that's high. You never go 2 points. All right, let's do it.
Very rarely, but I do think it merits. I mean, You know, the Stones and the Beatles, I don't think the Stones get enough credit for the
I think they
innovation
get
that they
plenty of credit
for
for
innovation.
innovation.
Everybody talks about, oh, the Beatles changed the game,
Who the
the
fuck
pop
are the
music
Beatles?
landscape. Beatles, I guess.
Thank you, Eddie Beater. Sorry.
But I think they were innovative in a different way. I mean, they were much more about incorporating, and maybe this is cultural appropriation. We can have that conversation later. I know you like to do that. They were appropriating a lot of that soul sound and the rhythm and blues sound and making it bigger.
They were doing
and
was
groovier
popular
in
at the
their own
time
way.
to write music. Huh? They were writing popular music. So the things that were popular at the time, they were, you know, using a lot of those things. Yeah. No, they just, you know, they were writing things that would sell, would be marketable and be awesome. And yeah.
But that's probably a risk to write something about the devil.
Yeah, sure.
And hope that it's going to sell in the same way.
Well, they were selling it to kids, dude. Like, the kids are going to love this shit. You know, they're all repressed and religious.
The hippies with their flower power?
Yeah, all the, you know, kiddos who were raised in, like, you know, good religious homes and stuff. This was, like, risque and yeah, it sells, you know.
So anyway, that's where I think this is a little more innovative.
Yeah, 2 points.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. We're not talking about 4 points out of 4 for innovation. I mean, that's going to be some shit off Abbey Road if we ever do that. All right, repeat listenability out of 16 points.
16. This is like, I would listen to this every time it comes on. Like, there's no way I would change the channel. Like, it's a good song, very strong.
I'm inclined to agree.
Yeah.
Although I would also say that
maybe 15, because like after a while, yeah.
I feel that way about everything. Every song that we've reviewed and that I liked,
like eventually
and I've gone on to listen to, yeah, I get real sick of it. Even Longhorn.
But then nothing would ever get a 16 if that were the case. Like, I mean, maybe that's a thing that you should always try to shoot for.
I'm going to give it a 16 anyway.
All right, fuck it.
So that's
we can do anything. We can do anything we want, you know.
Nobody's watching, so the points don't matter. That's been Sympathy for the Devil by the Rolling Stones, clocking in at a cool 8.7 out of 10 on the Tune Score scale.
That's very strong. Good job.
That's huge.
Yeah.
So there you go. Now, I seem to remember a time when, you know, we did a fan requests episode, and you were talking about Lil' Kim, and the album cover made you, you know, teenage boy, you think
are you gonna have
dirty thoughts
here. Yeah.
Did Sticky Fingers album cover have the same effect on you?
No, it did not. I was just a guy in jeans. I don't know what you're talking about.
With a functioning zipper. To strum along and just stare at that sightly bulge.
No, like to set a fucking, you know, set a mood and just kind of chill. Like, this gives you a feeling, man.
Here's a hot take about the Rolling Stones, at least on their more recent, like in the last 20 years, albums. Songs that are sung by Keith Richards tend to be the standout tracks.
Yeah.
Because Keith cannot sing. But they are somehow that much more charming for it.
Okay, right on.
Maybe because there's only like one, you know, The Worst is one of, I said from the first, I'm the worst kind of guy to be around, which is a great line in and of itself. But yeah. So anyway. So here's Moonlight Mile by the Rolling Stones off of 1971's Sticky Fingers. Is it 1971? We'll check that later.
'71. That's nice. Oh, because it's got the outline of a cock, you mean? From earlier when you were talking about the album cover. Don't play this at a bar until last call, otherwise people get mad because it just drags out.
And that's an arrangement decision.
It was nice. No, I think it warranted that, but it's definitely the closeout for the album.
Now
And I
this is
think it's
also
fine. It's just like a closing song. It's not a opener or anything because it's really low energy.
this is also the 2009 mix. Maybe we should have listened to the original.
No, that's literally the original. Like
Okay.
pretty much. Notes.
Yeah.
So there's everybody's playing different instruments for the most part on this album, except for we got Charlie on the drums still. But one of the big ones is Jim Price, I guess, was their either trumpeter or saxophonist or something like that. But he ended up playing the piano on this song, and I think he wrote most of the parts. And they promised him a songwriting credit, and they never did. But they did it because Keith Richards is not on this recording. He was kind of like busy doing other shit, drugs mostly. I don't know, something. He was in jail. I don't know, but it was hard to get him into the recording session. So they all kind of switched up instruments and stuff a little bit. So it sounds a little different, and it's a ballad. So it's, I mean, they have some ballads, but it's not like it's not like a straight up rock song. It's a nice little ballad.
Yeah,
a little different.
Okay,
folks, if you have just you're planning to break up with a gal, I want you to go get yourself a bottle of Jack Daniels and the Sticky Fingers album and just listen to that. And like maximum volume with the doors open, with like when the windows open, just in a bathrobe. Don't even get out of, don't shave or shower, nothing. And then just drink and drink and drink and cry a little bit and listen to that album on repeat until the neighbors complain. That's my therapy. That's my therapist. It's this album.
Just treat yourself though. Don't get jacked.
Yeah, get some good
shit.
Get
Makers. Get Buffalo Trace. Yeah, get something good. So
some good local booze.
Excellent. Like as far as album closers, the only better that I can think of that fits the closing of an album would be like The End by The Doors.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But this, I think, as far as ballads go,
pretty great.
Excellent choice. I think it's a totally pleasant tune and everything, but let me take a look at the lyrics. Do you have any notes on the melody before we get to lyrics?
I don't know. Number? Score?
Yeah, I'm thinking like a good
6 or
pretty
7.
Subdued, but like a 7.
7 is nice. Yeah.
Although I will say, I think that the instrumental melodies
arrangement is great.
Well,
harmony is good.
The stuff that you would call a melody, the instrumental melodies, like when the strings start.
The melody
is supposed to be the main thing that you hear at any given point in the song.
Yeah.
And usually, with Western pop music like this, you're hearing the vocal melody, but Mick's not always singing. And sometimes there's that call and response. So sometimes that melody is sort of a counter melody or something that fills in some of the space, whether it's from the string section or that lead guitar in the left channel. There's like always something going on. And it's always pretty interesting, even if it's not really memorable. I just listened to the song moments ago, and I can't remember what I was listening to when I wrote that down about the instrumental melodies.
Really?
But I do think it's strong enough to merit at least a 7.
Okay.
Let's take a look at the lyrics. I have them here. Setting the scene in verse 1, when the wind blows, rain feels cold, head full of snow. I'm guessing that's a cocaine reference.
So Mick has said that that's not what that's about, but easily interpreted as such. Something about just being on the road and touring. As a band.
I get that too. The proverbial mind blizzard, right?
Also cocaine.
Probably also
cocaine.
And you never paid for drugs, not once. And then ending that verse with a question. I like that.
No,
throwing
questions are great.
into the lyrics.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
So I had a hard time hearing the lyrics.
What was your favorite line if you had to pick one? Or I guess maybe that question.
Well, basically, I can't answer that because I had a really hard time hearing the lyrics. And
All
it
right.
kind of, it's an early version of mumble pop, this predecessor to Billie Eilish, as it were. But let me just look at the lyrics as a text.
I got mine all picked out.
I've got silence on my radio, let the airwaves flow. I kind of like that.
I would have to pick.
I do like that hook, just about a moonlight mile on down the road. I like that. That's a good hook.
It's a good hook. I like, oh, I'm sleeping under strange, strange skies. I like that. That, for whatever reason, that gets me every time. That's a good line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dreams is fading down the railway line. More cultural appropriation with that syntax and the mumbly drawl that.
I mean, they do
pure Brit Mick Jagger is.
He gives himself an affectation,
sure,
on a lot of these songs on this album, especially.
You know who else did that? Iggy Azalea.
Okay.
She picked up that affectation. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I think not the most jaw-dropping lyrics and not the easiest to hear. Maybe that's a little bit of performance that factors into it. But like we talked about in a recent song, I think it was about the harmony on the Billie Eilish tune. It feels like there's probably something there, but if I can't hear it, then I can't really give it credit.
Yeah, but we had a argument about this on whether that's mix or.
But it's both.
I think that's mix. I don't think. Okay. Yeah. No.
I mean, it really kind of is both.
It doesn't allow it to get more points. I think. I don't think that it's like a. Yeah. Okay. So what was the number there that we're thinking?
I'm thinking 6 or 7.
I want to say 7.
Okay.
Maybe
I'll allow it.
It's got good hooks and stuff. At least let's give it 7. Some of it.
The chorus is much better, or at least the chorus here is much less debatable than what we would talk about with, say, "Sympathy for the Devil."
Okay.
Rhythm here, I think, is much more subdued.
For sure.
But it's a good steady groove. I don't know, like 6 or 7.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Well, 6 or 7.
I want to say
the song was your pick, so
I know I like it. I want to give it a 7.
Okay.
Even if it doesn't warrant it, I don't know. I think it does.
Harmony and harmonic texture.
I think there's a lot of
especially the texture. Yeah. Everything going on.
The all the things that are going on. It's crazy.
So
the string arrangement. I like this one. It plays off well. I feel like it peters out a little bit, but it draws on too long. But there's a lot going on.
But again, that's an arrangement choice.
Yeah. I want to give it an 8. I don't know if I want to go 9. I want to give it an 8.
I agree with you there.
Yeah.
Performance accuracy out of 6. I think you got to go 5. I don't think there was anything that was.
I mean, they're
extremely complex or sophisticated being played that would merit a 6. But again, I'm mostly deferring to you. I might just veto.
We'll do a 5. We'll do a 5.
Okay. Feel though.
6.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
That's 6 out of 6 for
set a mood. Just like really like you feel cold and isolated. Like
this is a song,
yearning and all these things. Like it just really nails the mood of the piece.
It sounds like Moonlight Mile.
Yeah.
All right. So production. We'll get to the arrangement choices in a moment. The mix, I'm going to say the mix is worth a 4 out of 6.
Okay.
Less than standard. Here's why.
Yeah. Tell me why.
Okay. for the first 20 seconds, we're listening in headphones.
Yeah.
Right? First 20 seconds, I hear nothing in my left ear. Like 25 seconds.
Maybe you have like a medical issue.
I mean, I've been blessed.
Something's wrong with my headphones.
I've been blessed with tinnitus before.
Well,
no, I can only hear that really loud acoustic guitar strumming in the right side.
Mm-hmm.
And then it kind of picks up, and I start to hear like the twinkly high notes on the piano up in the left. But even when the full band comes in, about like a minute or so in, and for the rest of the song, at no point was the mix balanced between left and right. That strumming guitar in the right was always the loudest thing that I could hear. And for that reason, I have to mark it down.
Okay.
I think it's a subpar mix.
Okay.
That said, everything that they did with the way that the strings were in the mix, where they were placed, like that was all solid, if not better than.
The arrangement was good, I think.
Yeah.
I want to say 4/6. Do you want to go 5?
Do you want to go 6 for the arrangement after we just talked about how it peters out for the last minute?
I think that's intentional. I think it works with the song, with the idea
being the
of
album
the song.
Closer.
Yeah, just kind of watching, kind of floating with the bus as it goes down the road, and then kind of letting it keep going and let it just fucking sail off into nowhere.
Maybe that was the name of their tour bus, the Moonlight Mile. That would be a good name.
That'd be a good name for a bus.
Name for a car.
Yeah.
Your next car.
The Chrysler Moonlight Mile.
No, like the name. No, just the name that you give your next car.
No, I already got my names picked out. If I get I'm gonna get something fun and sporty. If I get a Nissan, if I were to get like a 350Z or something, I'd name it Liam Nissan, because it would just kick ass all day long. I think that's all it does. Liam Nissan. And then if you get a Celica, like a Toyota, I name him Tom Celica. Give him one of those little mustaches up front, like a Lyft driver.
I don't think they've made a Toyota Celica for like at least 17 years.
Yeah, hard to find, but they're out there somewhere. I've seen them.
I don't know why you would trade down.
No, I just like those names. I think it's funny. That's all.
Okay.
Those are just funny, stupid jokes that came up.
That's very good. Very clever.
Thank you.
Did we land on a 6 or a 5 for the arrangement?
We'll give it 5. That's fine. No. I think 6. I want to fight for 6. I think this is great. I think it really sets a scene. It paints a picture. And everything, every choice they made, whether, intentional or because they couldn't get Richards into the recording studio, I think it works out very well. Like, they did a really good job.
Okay.
Cool.
Except for whoever they had on rhythm guitar instead of Keith.
Jagger.
Was playing too loud. So let's move on.
He's going to be
the appeal.
Yeah.
The emotion out of 16. Now keep in mind.
Pretty good. High.
I think you have to go like 14 or 15. I don't know why I said keep in mind, but I think you got to like 14, maybe 15. I don't think it quite all the way, because it's very specific to the on the road,
and it's very unspecific too. Like the lyrics are actually kind of vague, and I don't know, 15, 16. I would say 15. I would lean towards 16. Let's give it 15.
I'm leaning towards 14, so I'm going to say 15.
All right, thank you. Yeah.
Innovation points out a 4. I don't know.
I don't know if there's any innovation there.
It's
good though.
Repeat listenability. Total of 16 points.
Yeah. I want to give it 16. I don't know what you feel like, but this is a good closer. I know it's something you couldn't listen to every day, but like once it comes on, like I'm not going to change the channel. I like this song. I want to finish it out. I want to ride it out, feel that feeling. It's good. Again, let's split the difference wherever you end up and figure out where that is.
I was thinking 14, so I'll split it with you and we'll say 15.
All right, thank you. What is our total there?
Yeah, so that's been the Moonlight Mile by the Rolling Stones, clocking in at 8.0 out of 10 on the Tune Score scale.
Did it do better than Sympathy? What was
No,
Sympathy? 8 point something? 8 point
that was 8.7.
87. Okay. All right. Eight's very strong though. And it's a deep cut. It's not a hit.
We've had a lot of fun today, and we hope you did too. That's been Kevin Niebrick. I've been Carrie Nightingale. We'll see you in the next one. Until then, stay sound.
Right or wrong, it's our criticism and constructive
Yeah,
criticism and all that. It's good.